Welcome back, guys. So I got the clutch going on the NR200. I haven't started it yet to actually test the clutch to see if it's gonna work good, but it fit perfectly. The off-the clutch nut that I ordered. I also got like an Amazon clutch. It's a three-plug clutch. It worked perfectly. I was able to kind of retrofit it on there. I really wish they would kind of include a clutch system already on these engines. I mean, it's just kind of annoying to always have to kind of modify these to get the clutch on there, but nonetheless, we always find a way, which is good. So the video I'm making is it's a really quick video to kind of overview the clutch, just so you guys can kind of get that information if you have the same motor, you're trying to drop it into something, because I know the clutch is obviously the first thing that's going to stop you from actually putting it in and running it. So just stay tuned in the next video, and I'll see you then. Take care. All right, guys. So I'm here with the NR200. So as you could see, that's the three-plug clutch I was able to get from to Amazon and kind of transfer over. There are some scratches because I'll tell you what, these are probably the biggest pain to put these little clutch shoes on here, and trying to get the little spring over. I mean, these things have always been such a pain for me to get on, but it fits on there perfect, as you can see. I mean, it's almost like it's made for it. I don't actually have this flywheel all the way on just because I wanted to take it off to kind of show you guys. So right there is the actual clutch nut. It's actually loose right now. Obviously, it's not screwed in, but I just did this so like I can take it off and kind of show you guys. The pins that are in here, I actually took off of this Amazon flywheel here. It's like a kit. It comes with the flywheel, the pins, the clutch shoes, and the springs for the clutch shoes. So it actually was perfect. It was the same exact diameter of the holes that are pre-made in this flywheel. I mean, I literally just got one of my bench vices, and I just kind of sandwiched this in between with the pin on the other side, and just slowly kind of pushed the pin in, and it went in there actually fairly easy, but I mean tight enough where that thing is not going to come out. Obviously, it looks like they already designed this to have pins pressed in there, so that actually fits perfect. And I mean, put it back on here. This is my clutch bell that I think I bought off of Amazon as well, a little 13 tooth. The only thing is you will need to put some washers on here, and it has to be at least about 1.3 millimeters in thickness of washers in there, because if not, when you put the clutch bell on here and you don't have any washers, it does hit the back of the actual flywheel, so it'll start scraping on there, and it's just not going to be happy. You're just going to start eating away at the flywheel. So with this thickness around 1.3 1.4, what I measured, it perfectly keeps the gap there on the flywheel and allows it to just spin freely. But I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it fits perfect on there. I mean, it's almost like it's made for it. So that worked out perfectly. And by the way, this is the part number of the off nut clutch nut that screws right on there, and it also does include the E-clip to hold this on here in the front so that it doesn't fall off. But it also is threaded, so you could also put a screw in there if you wanted to. It also brings the washer as well that goes over there and kind of helps secure it on there. So that actually, I mean, I'm happy. This worked out like perfectly. It couldn't get any better. So what's kind of involved, and I will put the part numbers and the Amazon link to this clutch that I bought. I should still have it there in my history. You will need to press the pins out of this. It might be a little involved if you've never done it before. I mean, the pins are steel. This is aluminum. It should be fairly easy to kind of wedge something behind this, and then put it on a vise and then press the pins out each one by one. It wasn't that hard for me to do on this. It actually came out fairly easy, and aluminum is a good heat conductor, so you could probably heat this up a little bit and try to avoid heating the pins and just the flywheel, and that should actually loosen them up a little bit. better too to get out. So that's not as hard as it may look to do. But then, you know, you press them into this, make sure you get them straight, you press them in, and that's it. And then you could just start putting the little clutch shoes on there. And, you know, this is probably, to be honest with you, what's the biggest pain is just getting these clutch shoes on here, because they do have a little tiny bit of the spring that has to be kind of compressed and kind of pushed over that nut, and that's kind of what keeps the tension on them. That's probably going to be the biggest pain of putting these on. I don't know yet how this clutch is going to engage, at what RPM, or this engine should have enough RPM. They say it revs up to 18,000 to 22. I know some nitro engines, that's kind of like almost their, you know, normal RPM, or in their upper RPM range, so it should be fine. I don't think it'll be an issue. But, you know, I'm not going to know, obviously, until I actually put this in and start it up and see if the clutch bell starts engaging. So that's what I did to get the actual clutch on here. And that worked out perfectly. So if you guys want to kind of do the same modification here for the clutch, this actually works out perfectly. So moving on, I'm also working on trying to get a smaller starter on here. This is a starter it comes with. This is actually a starter off my Toyan, which is the little brushless motor. It actually does line up with this bracket. I kind of have it a little weird on here because I was kind of playing around. It does line up with the pre-made holes that are on here, and it does sit right in the center. The only problem is that since this little motor the pulley is kind of specifically, I guess, designed for Toyan, where they kind of made this the diameter a little smaller so it doesn't run into the screws on the side. You can't use the actual pulley that comes with the NR200. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit more teeth, but it also kind of runs into the screws that are, you know, the mounting screws for this brushless motor, because they are further inward than this big motor, where they're kind of a lot further outward, so it kind of gives you the clearance. So I'm kind of still working on this. I might 3D print a bracket that just to kind of test with and see if I can get this mounted right. But, you know, the other issue I'm running into is obviously the belt. The belt doesn't reach just because of the distances. So you know, I could probably work something out with that. That's kind of minor compared to everything else. I think the clutch was the biggest issue. Other than that, the other few things I wanted to talk about was the machining work on this motor. I had mentioned this in the comments of the first video I had made about this, and the actual, you might be able to actually see it from here, but these holes aren't exactly, as you could see, let's see if I can get something here, they're not exactly in the center of this circle here, of the exhaust port. They're kind of upward, so they're a little bit off center of where they should be. So what I noticed is that when I took the exhaust off, you can clearly, let me get this little before I lose it. You can clearly see right there that half moon there of where the exhaust was actually being, you know, it's actually coming out of the motor there. That's actually running straight into the exhaust manifold on both sides. So that's how far off it is. And the actual Toyan exhaust, the little muffler stacks that I actually have here in my Toyan, these actually fit straight onto this motor with no problem. But when you look down the actual exhaust, you could see it's the same amount of offset that's on here, because these holes here are off center. So that's a little annoying. I know that could probably be fixed by maybe slotting these, you know, or, you know, just coming up with a whole nother little header there. But that's just a little annoying. The other thing I wanted to talk about that is a little interesting is the carburetor. As you can see here on the manifold, it has a hole there, a threaded hole for kind of like a set screw to hold the carburetor in. I didn't have anything in there. There was no screw. But this carburetor was almost impossible to take out of here. I mean, it's literally like pressed in this hole to the point where I guess you could say that screw's not even needed, but it's a little worrisome because I know once this engine probably, starts running and heats up, that could get loose and just cause a huge leak, or the whole carburetor to fall off. So that was a little bothersome that I found out on this engine. I don't know if the other ones are like this. I don't know, maybe the set screw fell out. I mean, I checked the box, I didn't see anything. I just know this thing it was just wedged in there. I mean, I could not take this carburetor off. I had to put it in my vise and actually kind of twist it off. And this looks like it's also like an off-brand carburetor too. It looks like it had a name or logo there, and it looks like it was scratched off. So I'm not even sure who makes this carburetor. And like Dennis also reviewed in his video, I know he mentioned that this little screw, we're not sure what it does. I know when I mess with it and I twist it around, it seems to kind of mess with the slide on the carburetor. It seems to kind of move this. I just don't know exactly what that's doing. I might go with another carburetor. I might just purchase another name brand, like an OFNA or HPI carburetor somewhere online, and that matches the same diameter here at the bottom, and see if maybe I can fit that on here on this engine. It might improve the way it runs. It might give it a little more power, it may not. But just not too happy with this car. I like more of the side slide carburetors other than these rotating ones, because this makes it a little harder sometimes to just mount a servo and things like that to it. So that was pretty much what I wanted to cover. And like I said, I am going to try to get this running to show you guys once everything clears up. This little motor does have very nice compression. I mean, and you could just hear the suction and the exhaust coming out of this thing. I mean, the tolerances seem very well placed in this engine, at least for like the pistons and the rings, or however they got it machined. It's really, really good. So once I get it running, I'll make a video and show you guys. But I just kind of wanted to overlook the clutch situation, because I know that was something that obviously is going to hold you back from even trying to run this engine in anything. I still haven't put the engine in the Defender to actually see if the distances between the clutch bell and where this mounts and the transmission lines up. I've yet to do that, but you guys will get videos on that once I get it going and everything is set up, so don't worry. I'm just kind of taking this day by day to figure out the clutch situation, which this is out of the way now. Now it's all these other little things that are kind of annoying me. So stay tuned, guys. I appreciate everyone watching. Comment, like, subscribe if you have any questions. And I am going to put all the part numbers of the the OFNA clutch nut here, and also the clutch that I purchased on Amazon, so you guys can have that information whenever you guys have this project coming up or are working on this. So thanks, guys, and take care.